What is up, guys? Delboy here. Just a quick preview and prediction for Anthony Joshua versus Alexander Povetkin. Before we get into the video, just a quick shout out to a new boxing channel by the name of McGregor Boxing Stars. I will put the link in the comments. I'm going to pin the comment so you guys can all see it. New channel, really good boxing channel. Always comes with a sort of balanced perspective, unbiased, really good knowledge of the sport, and a really good listen, really good perspectives. I thoroughly enjoy his channel. Check him out, you won't regret it. Really good channel. But on we go. Anthony Joshua versus Alexander Povetkin. This fight goes down on the 22nd of September, and it is taking place at Wembley Stadium. The WBO, WBA and IBF heavyweight titles are going to be on the line. Obviously, the fight everybody wanted to see was Joshua versus Wilder. That's not happening just yet. I've made a video on that already. I don't really want to get into that on this video. I find that whole subject extremely boring. But Joshua versus Povetkin, as it's got closer, I am looking forward to it more. I've got to be honest. Let's be honest. Povetkin, he is a top 5 heavyweight contender, and he's been a top 5, top 10 contender, for about 10 years. He's a proven commodity with punching power, with solid skills and Olympic pedigree. Povetkin is no mug. Povetkin is a world-class fighter, like it or not. I do think he's seen better days, but he's still a genuine top 10 fighter, and he still will pose a threat to Anthony Joshua. Let's briefly break down the differences in terms of height and reach and the records. We'll start with the champion, Anthony Joshua. He has a record of 21 wins, 0 defeats, 0 draws. 20 of those 21 wins coming by way of stoppage. Alexander Povetkin has a record of 34 wins, 1 defeat, 0 draws. 24 of those 34 wins coming by way of stoppage. Obviously, Povetkin's only defeat is to Vladimir Klitschko, where he was fouled to a unanimous decision. So Povetkin has more fights. He's a more experienced guy. Joshua is 28, whereas Povetkin is 39. So obviously Joshua has youth on his side, and he also has size on his side. Joshua is 6'6", with an 82-inch reach, whereas Povetkin is 6'2", with a 75-inch reach. Joshua has 7 inches in terms of reach. He's got a 7-inch reach advantage, and he's got a 4-inch height advantage. And it kind of plays into the styles. Joshua, to me, he's decent at range when he's got a stationary target. When he's fighting a guy with slow feet, he can pump the jab. He can follow through with that long right hand, as we saw against Charles Martin and against Dominic Brazil. If somebody's got slow feet, Joshua can keep it at range. But I think Joshua is best at mid-range when guys are coming onto him and he has opportunity to counter. And I think, he's going to have success with his attributes naturally. He's a bigger guy. Povetkin doesn't have slow feet, but he's not got Mike Tyson footwork or hand speed. He's not extremely quick. And I feel Joshua will have success just pumping a consistent jab and keeping it long. And also when Povetkin comes forward, because he is a come-forward fighter, Joshua is going to get opportunity to counter. So I feel Povetkin's style will give Joshua a lot of opportunities to land his best punches, and it does kind of play to his strengths. Not only that, online I've seen Joshua, a couple of his training videos, and he's actually working in clinches in training. He's working on his clinching skills. So if Joshua can employ that in this fight, how's Povetkin going to deal with that? He didn't deal with it well against Klitschko, and I know the referee was bad in that fight, but again, Povetkin's fighting abroad in the UK, Joshua's at home. So if Joshua is holding Povetkin, he can't expect the referee to help him out. He needs to be more active in the clinch, and he needs to be more aggressive in the clinch. So Yeah, firstly, Povetkin's got to deal with the height disadvantage, and he has struggled in the past against taller guys, even against Price. Walking into jabs, walking into that counter left hook. Against Mariusz Wach, yes, he won, but he didn't look. He didn't look as destructive, and he didn't look as dynamic. Obviously, against Klitschko, he struggled mightily in that fight. So I think stylistically, this fight does go against Povetkin's strengths, but. It's going to be interesting to see what happens if Povetkin is there after sort of 6 or 7 rounds, because I expect Povetkin to lose the first few rounds. Joshua is going to be fresh. He's going to be pumping a jab. He's going to be active, and I just expect him to be landing with better shots and being more active. But Joshua in the past has had a tendency to gas, and Povetkin has completed 12 rounds a few times now. Yes, he gassed against Marco Huck, but that fight was very high octane. For the most part, Povetkin has done the 12 rounds quite well. And, if Povetkin is still there after 6 or 7 rounds, it's going to be interesting to see how Joshua responds to that, if Povetkin can then start to apply pressure late on. Because I feel Joshua in fights, we all know he has kind of like second wins, but when he is gassed, he really does lose his shape, and his defense kind of goes out the window, and he is there for the taking, I think, in those moments. So if Povetkin gets Joshua in one of those moments, it's going to be very interesting, because I think Povetkin has enough power to really hurt Joshua, and not only that, Povetkin does have good finishing skills. So to me, it's imperative that Povetkin gets Joshua to the second half of a fight and see where he goes from there. If Povetkin can get up close and Joshua is not clinching, I do actually feel Povetkin can have success. Povetkin's a really good body puncher, hooks to the body, and he comes up to the head very well. So if Povetkin doesn't get clinched, Joshua could be in trouble up close. I definitely feel Povetkin can do things that are going to trouble Joshua. It's just how Joshua approaches this fight. He's been saying he's going to get more aggressive, and he's going to be he's going to sort of stamp his authority more in this fight. If he does that, it's kind of playing into Povetkin's hands as far as I'm concerned. But we'll see what happens there. Overall, I feel obviously Joshua, he's the big favourite. He's at home. He's the younger man. He's the bigger man. I feel his strengths kind of match well against Povetkin's weaknesses. So I am going to pick Joshua to win this fight. Will he be the first man to stop Povetkin? Potentially. I'm going to go with a Joshua points or late stoppage win. I can't really see Povetkin. I can't see Povetkin doing enough to win a points decision. Obviously, Povetkin can always knock you out. That's always a possibility. He's got a puncher's chance, but I think he's going to struggle to close the range. I think he has slowed down just a tad. His feet are not as quick. And, I think he's going to be walking into some big right hands, some big jabs. And overall, I just feel he's going to get outpointed. But he'll give it a go, and he's always going to be a danger. The only other worry for Anthony Joshua is, he just gets careless and he gets caught with a big left hook and he gets knocked out. Obviously, Dillian Whyte landed a big left hook in their fight early on. If Povetkin lands that same shot, what happens? Povetkin has put out people with that shot. So, listen, Povetkin's got a puncher's chance. But I just feel Joshua, he's in the better place. He's got everything in his favour. It's at home. He's younger. He's fresher. He's bigger. And I struggle to see him losing this fight. But I do think it's going to be relatively competitive. And I do feel a lot of people are, wouldn't say underrating Povetkin, but maybe not giving him the credit he deserves. Listen, people were giving Deontay Wilder a lot of credit for beating Luis Ortiz. I did too, but let's be honest about it. Povetkin's a far more proven fighter than Luis Ortiz, and they're a similar age, so to me, this win at very worst is as good as the Ortiz win. If Joshua beats Povetkin. Because how can you say otherwise, because Povetkin's more proven? But people, when talking about Joshua or Wilder, no matter what side these people are on, they're always going to be biased. And they're always going to kind of play to their own narrative, I suppose. But listen, Povetkin's a top 5 heavyweight as far as I'm concerned. You know, I've got no issue with this fight per se. I'd rather see the Wilder fight, but that's not happening. So I'm more than happy with this fight. I've got Joshua on points or by late stoppage. What do you guys think? Peace.